Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to another episode of Timeout with Coach Kam. I'm your host, Cam Chancellor, and I'm excited that we are back. I know that we've been missing for a while, but we got another episode for you, and I'm definitely hoping that you tune in. I have my homegirl Tori. What's going on with you?
Not bad, Coach. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm hanging in there. It's Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Keep doing your thing, and remember, we're needed. We need it, so especially us black fathers. So continue to to fight that narrative that that we've been getting, that we're bad fathers. I think we're doing a great job. We got plenty to go over. We've been missing in action, but we want to talk about Kyrie Irving and him wanting, text messages came out and him wanting to start his own league. Also, I want to talk about Mike Gundy. And what's been going on at Oklahoma State. Apparently, this ain't been his first rodeo at racial comments or pushing that envelope there. So we're going to discuss that. Also, we're going to discuss about Bradley Beal and where he possibly could end up for next season. And will we really see sports this year? I feel like we may be getting led on here, and I'm not sure if we'll honestly see some live sports. So I'm really interested to see will we actually see sports, and we will discuss that as well. But we will start and talk about Kyrie Irving and how he wants to start a new league. I think the idea initially is great. However, you have to really think this through. We've seen many leagues, go up against your NFLs and, different things like that, and they just simply can't compete, or somehow that NFL just wipes them out. What do you think about Kyrie and his stance of now, questioning Orlando and now want to possibly start his own? Is this coming from, you think this is, in good, genuine thing from Kyrie, or is it something stemming from where the NBA did not let him go to Orlando to ruin his teammates?
And that's kind of where I felt it might be coming from as far as Kyrie. Kyrie is already known to be a troubled player within the NBA, and as far as it comes out that Kyrie wasn't able to go. He's not playing. He wasn't able to go to Orlando. Mm-hmm. With the current situation that we are with the pandemic, if you're not going to play, I can see why the league said, hey, don't go. That's one person they have to track. That's one more person they have to test. That's one more liability they have to worry about. If you're not going to play, it's not really necessary that you can be there. I understand you want to be with your teammates. You want to be around. But for this type of thing, well, you got FaceTime. We got to play it safe. So as far as him, I feel like it's Kyrie having essentially as a fit.
Yeah.
I'm not going to play by your rules anymore. I'm tired of you telling me what I can do. So let's go make my own league. And with that being said, making a new league against a $1 billion industry, that's not easily said and done. You're one player. Maybe you get 2, 3 other big name players to follow you. But are you prepared to take that pay cut? Are you really? Because once you do this, I don't think the NBA gonna welcome you back with open arms. Oh no, you would be blackballed for sure. You'll definitely be blackballed for sure. And I'm not saying don't go for it. I don't want to sound like I'm being so negative towards Kyrie to where I'm like almost shut up and dribble. I'm not saying that by any means. I'm just saying that you have guys that are used to making $25 to $30 million a year. How many players you really think are going to take a $34 million pay cut? Or $35 million player take a $34 million pay cut, or that's what you essentially make, because you start a new league, you're only making maybe $100,000, $200,000, if that, and that's probably your better players. So I'm talking about the other players that you get, to give a chance to. They may make what, $25K, $35K, and in that scenario,
why not just go to the G League where it's already, you see what I'm saying? And that's the hard part about starting your own league against the NBA. They already have a minor league system. And then if players don't want to go to the G League, they say, forget it. I can make six figures, possibly millions of dollars overseas, where there's multiple leagues. You got the Euro League, which is the top league. You got people go to China and make millions. Stephon Marbury, after the NBA, made a living over there. He's like God over there in China. So that's where it gets hard. And I'm not ripping Kyrie at all for wanting to try this or even throw it out there. I'm not ripping him for it. I'm just saying you may want to try to, move it up, in silence a little bit, which goes to show you can't anymore really because, this was leaked information apparently, and it's just, it's tough. But I'm not going to rip him like Kendrick Perkins.
No, but before we move on to Kendrick Perkins, I also have to ask, what did the NBA do
in this
scenario? What did they do that was necessarily wrong?
In this scenario, I don't think anything. We're in a pandemic that we've never seen before where, this COVID-19 is very, very contagious. This coronavirus is very contagious. And, why bring an extra body down there that's not going to play and that's not needed? It's just silly. It's not smart. So the NBA was right in this case. I would have denied his case.
And then as well, he tried to say that he didn't want to downplay the current situation as far as the Black Lives Matter move as well. And I will give the NBA their props for, they're not like other sports.
They're very good.
That they didn't restrict, people didn't get fined for speaking out. They wore their shirts, And so it's really, is a new league needed? Or is this just one disgruntled player?
Exactly. And I say...
And I love Kyrie.
Kyrie, you've been very objective. Kyrie is your boy. And it's just like, why not use the NBA platform? They allow you to. So why not use that platform already to where you're already connecting with millions and millions of people? Use that platform to send a message that you need to send. Absolutely. And I think that's what could be good for Orlando. But we want to kind of get into this a little bit. Because your boy Kendrick Perkins.
If you take Kyrie Irving brain and put it in a bird right now, guess what that bird is going to do? It's going to fly backwards. Because Kyrie right now, he's confused. He's showing his lack of leadership. Here it is. Kyrie, you have been on these conference calls over the last 2 months. You're the vice president of the Players Association. You have been very involved in all this that has been taking place for us, whether or not we're going to play or not. And you have been on the phone and you have voted to play.
Hey, he been, LeBron, #1 man. And, and it's been funny because he came out the other day and told Skip Bayless, we was on AAU team together, that's my dog. Which was like perfect. That means anything you say about LeBron is disqualified and biased. You got a bias. You've been road dogs with this man since y'all was kids. You know what I mean? But Kendrick Perkins, he, lately he been in the media. He been on fire. It seems like he said something about Kyrie. Which kind of thought was kind of over the top. Like, he talk about he said if you put Kyrie brain and you put it in the bird will fly backwards. That's how confused Kyrie is. Now that's messed up, man. That's messed up. Like he's saying he's showing his lack of leadership and things like that. Now look, at first I was saying the same thing. Like, man, what the hell is Kyrie talking about? But then I sat and I was like, you know what? Let me take the name away. And let me say if this was LeBron James saying the same thing. How would it be perceived? And I was like, you know what? He's not saying anything off the wall necessarily. It's just the fact that it's just not put together well. Yeah, you just can't say, let's start our own league. Like, that ain't how it works. You know what I mean? He just needs to put more thought into it and things like that. But I think his lack of leadership in the past does hurt him in this scenario.
Absolutely.
Because it's like, bruh, you can't lead a basketball team. How you gonna try to lead us in a try to lead us towards starting our own league and branching off into something like, that's just not ideal. And I think a lot of people look at Kyrie and look at that and hold it against him. But KD, calling Kendrick Perkins a sellout, now that's pretty deep. Sellout is a deep word in the black community. And I think, I'm going to let you go. I was originally, I was arguing on, people post on that. I'm on KD's side, you know what I mean? I don't like Kendrick Perkins that much as a media person. But looking back on it, man, KD, that was harsh, calling that man a sellout. You could have said several different things and disagreeing with him, but calling him a sellout, especially Kendrick Perkins is not that. You know what I mean? He's not that. And just to call him a sellout, I think that was just deep. I think it was a little bit overboard. I don't like how Kendrick Perkins sounded off on Kyrie, and blasting him like that. I don't. But I don't like the fact that KD really came at him like that.
And I do feel like on both players, lines were just crossed. KD more than Kendrick on this, perhaps. Is just, again, with Kyrie, he has been known to have lack of leadership. Mm-hmm. However, I wouldn't say that his ideas are just that far-fetched, that they're just backwards.
Right.
As in referring to him flying backwards as a bird.
Yeah, that's messed up.
But again, it's kind of, you stand somewhere in the middle. It was like Kyrie's, it's not too far off. It's not that far off.
Right.
But I do see where, as I mentioned earlier, one, A, is it necessary? B, be a little bit more organized about it. And then and then Kendrick, essentially what sounds like coming to the NBA's defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
KD calls him a sellout. I would never take it that far. I would never say that he's a sellout. Yeah. I think, as far as Kendrick and the media, I'm starting to really wonder, where did he come from? Who was Kendrick? But as where does Kendrick come from? Why is he all of a sudden relevant? Why is he the spokesman?
Man, he's this is what I understand. He's his word is holding so much weight right now for some reason in the media. I don't get it. And maybe because he's a former player, but then he's spilling all the inside information. Like, come on, man. Some stuff is for locker room only. Unless you're giving it like MJ Last Dance or something like that. Like, it's some stuff that we shouldn't just know. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, he spill it all. And I think that's why, I think that's his angle he taking right now as far as, getting his way in there. Mm-hmm. But you're right. I have no idea where Kendrick Perkins came from all of a sudden. But all of a sudden, he the man. But KD, that's deep, man. Yeah. That's deep, man. I understand y'all got a little thing going on where y'all not happy with each other right now. You're not happy with him. And it all stemmed back from when he said Russell Westbrook was the best Thunder of all time. Kendrick Perkins said that. And
I could see KD's problem with that. As far as
I can too.
Russell, I have mixed feelings about his gameplay. I just think I think he's overrated. Very overrated. Don't kill me. But to say that he was the better, absolutely not. We've seen what KD is and was, and we've seen what he was without KD.
Yep. Yeah, he was a triple-double guy, no doubt about it. But he didn't win a playoff game. Playoff series. He was favored in some of those and just couldn't get it done. So, I think that was the stemming of all this. KD has not let that go. And Kendrick Perkins keep poking the bear, and he's everything is Bron. And it's like, I think people getting frustrated with Kendrick Perkins, to be quite honest with you, and that's where you see him lash out now. So it'll be interesting. We'll be interested and see if we get some balls soon here. But it'll be anxious to see how many people don't play. I know Lou Williams is 50-50 right now. Some of these other guys, George Hill, don't know if he'll come back and play. You know, him being living in Indiana, he said he experienced a lot of this, and he could have easily been a George Floyd or anyone else. You have Malcolm Brogdon. You know, these are, you know, players on, you know, on teams that are contenders, and that could weigh definitely a big factor in the outcome of the playoffs and, you know, the NBA Finals. So definitely interesting to see, you know, what we have there. But all right, coming up next, we will talk about Mike Gundy and how, you know, in my opinions on him, and, you know, and I feel, or we'll discuss, should he be fired or not, right after the timeout. All right, back from the timeout. We will discuss Mike Gundy, the Oklahoma State head coach, who was called out by his Heisman candidate running back, Chuba Hubbard, and where he called Mike Gundy out for wearing a OAN T-shirt, which OAN, what we're getting is a far-right news network. That's obviously in favor of, you know, Donald Trump, and which has kind of, you know, it's not kind of, Donald Trump has really promoted, you know, kind of hatred towards the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, calling the criminal front group and just a farce. So it was really, you know, Chuba Hubbard felt like it was very insensitive at the time, like, you know what's going on in the country. Even if you feel like that, but why wear that shirt at this particular time? Just kind of show your just your insensitivity about it. And he basically said that he will not do anything Oklahoma State related until until he sees change. And also, it also came out that in 1989, a player, a Colorado linebacker, who ended up being a Pro Bowl NFL defensive end and linebacker, Alfred Williams, he used to play for the Bengals actually, he got drafted by the Bengals, stated that he called him the N-word during the game in 1989 as the quarterback, because he was the quarterback for Oklahoma State at the time. So they played against each other in the Big 12. And he said, and he also said that, and if he denies he said that, I have 20 people who will vouch for me to say that he did. And he said, look, I don't want Mike Gundy to lose his job. He said he needs to come out and apologize. Show his face, apologize. Because in all that video that he had with Chuba Hubbard, and he never apologized. Never said sorry.
That's because I don't think he is. If you want to in 1989, you're using the N-word, and here to this day, I think it's your subtle way of making your stance. When you wear stuff that's OAN, and you know, especially in a time like this, if that is not what you believe, it's not what you side with, you're not going to wear that. You're going to think twice. What percentage of your team is African American? I'm willing to bet at least 80% of your team is African American. For you to wear something that's so sensitive, so wrong, and it's, you know, yeah, okay, maybe it's in favor of President Trump, but then they refer to this movement as a farce,
yeah,
and
that's the thing.
Criminal front group.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's the thing. I'll let you continue, but that's the exact thing right there. And you know what? He wore the shirt because he ain't think nobody on the team would know about it. But it got it. And you know, Chuba Hubbard, which went on First Take and was very you know, articulate, well spoken, you know, knew exactly what it was and called him out on it. And you know, it's just, you know, and we're not saying that, you know, you can't wear what you want to wear. That's obvious, but you are a head coach at a university where you have possibly 100+ kids that's under your wing. And at this particular time, I'd probably say out of 115 of them, probably 80 of them are probably African American. So to sit up here and to pull that stunt, thinking no one would know what OAN network, only one network is,
That's a slap in the face to me, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And you would think somebody who is in his stance, it's college, university. You deal with these kids all the time. This has been your career. Mm-hmm. And to still have that stance, I'm not going to knock you for being a Republican. To have that one American news. And then as you said on that video, he never apologized.
No, he never apologized.
And it leads me to believe that he's not sorry. And he stands where he stands. And I don't blame Chuba Hubbard for not wanting to do anything. Now, he's not calling for his job. But if he's not willing to apologize, then at that point, do we call for his job?
I mean,
is he in the position to do his job?
He needs to do more. I know that. I know he needs to do more. It's just not enough. And Chuba Hubbard on First Take, he didn't get into specifics, but they asked, like, is this the first time, this has happened, or you felt like, there's been some racial undertone, and he basically said, I won't get into specifics, but this ain't the first time. This ain't the first time. And unfortunately, I believe it. Unfortunately, I believe it. These kids are scared to speak. Mm-hmm. They're scared their scholarship is going to get took. Some of these kids, you don't understand, in the African American community, they go back to nothing if they lose that scholarship. You know what I mean? They lose their dream and their hopes of, going to the NFL. If they possibly come out speak on something, all it takes is for the rest of the team or the whole coaching staff to say, no, we never said that. We never did this. But I can't believe it. Alienate the young man. Young man loses scholarship. Then they come out years later that he was right.
And I just feel today we're in a new age.
Yeah.
Like he said it's not the first occasion, so I'm pretty sure other players on that team have felt it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
At what point, as the university, do you think that that's not going to cause your team to have issues?
Yeah.
You can walk the wall, you can go through the motions, but your heart anchor, your energy is going to be different. The connection around your team is going to be different, and that's from one coach. These are different. This is not 1989 anymore. These are different times.
Exactly.
It makes a difference.
Yes, it definitely is, and like I'm seeing here. And I'm reading on Mike Gundy. There was another Colorado linebacker that game said that, Gundy said it to him and a couple other guys on the field. And there's an article back here in '89 where Colorado players in the paper are saying Gundy made racial slurs. And Alfred Williams in the paper at the time said, I hope very many people raise their children not to be like him. He said things he had no business saying to anybody. And you know what I mean? This ain't, unfortunately, like I said, I believe the Colorado players in this instance there, it's unfortunate. But, something has to be done. He needs to step up and do more. Or if not, he needs to go, or the players to speak for him. The players to speak for him. All it takes for him is them not to respond to his coaching. They go out there, pull a 7-5 year, maybe a 6-6 year, they're going to look twice at it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because of all this, they're going to look twice at it. So something has to be done. He has to get that locker room back because right now he don't have it. Chuba Hubbard said, still work needs to be done. He's not happy still with the progress that has been made. So we will see moving forward. But Oklahoma State, they have some work to do, and the administration needs to really take a deep look into Mike Gundy moving forward to see if he takes the right steps to fix this, or if he's going to continue to give us this, which is a non-response, because unfortunately, the players will speak for him in this case moving forward. All right, coming up next, we will discuss where would Bradley Beal end up, and also Will we actually see sports this season, or are they leading us along? Right after the timeout. Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome back from the timeout. And we will talk about Bradley Beal. He's been a hot commodity here. It seems like every year you hear Bradley Beal being discussed in some kind of trade rumors. I personally like Bradley Beal's game. I'm gonna let you start off with this. Where do you see him ending up next year? Because I don't think it'll be a Wizard again.
With how Bradley Beal talks, he talks as if he doesn't want to leave.
Yeah.
And so I don't think career-wise it would be best for him to stay. But if next year, I would have to go with next year with reasonably, I would say Miami. Or Denver.
Miami or Denver?
It seems like two different teams, but as far as if you're trading Bradley Beal, this is the Wizards' do all to be all at this point.
Yep.
They got to get something back.
Yep. Gotta have some capital.
We got to look at who teams have to offer, and for the Nuggets, I feel like they can't. They're good.
Yeah.
They're right there, and they need something that's going to push them over that hump to essentially make them a contender.
Yep.
A real contender.
Yep. I agree.
And then also looking at Miami, it's still in the East. They also have a bunch to offer, and it looks like he would make a good fit there as well.
I agree with those places. I really agree with Denver, and just what they can offer. What they can offer the Wizards. You're just looking at it here. You can offer Gary Harris. You can offer Will Barton, players like that. Also, if I'm the Wizards, I would want Michael Porter Jr. in any discussions. Just if I'm trading a franchise caliber guy that's averaging 30 points a game, I want to make sure I get a potential star scorer who can fill that role. We don't know what John Wall is going to be when he comes back from this injury. He's been out for a year and a half, almost 2 years now. He looks explosive in his workouts, but workouts is different when you get out there than when you get out there 5-on-5. And so I hope he returns back to a full recovery. But the Nuggets is a place that I would like to see him go. You say the Heat. I don't know about the Heat. It sounds good. However, I don't know if Jimmy Butler and Brad Beal can fit together. They almost play the same position. Defensively, I know Jimmy Butler is a defender, but when you're talking about having to guard possibly KD, that's if I think that, you looking at Jimmy Butler 6'6", 6'7", Bradley Beal 6'4", 6'5". That three position, that small forward position gets bigger and bigger. It seems like you see more 6'10" guys, 6'11" guys. I just want to know how they would match. And Jimmy Butler's scrappy. He's an all defensive player. I'm not saying he can't hang, but KD coming back, he can shoot over anybody. So I don't know how that would necessarily fit together, but I really do like him with Denver. I think that's a great move, and an underlying move that I think would be great, and I think there will be another East team rising to the top, will be the Hawks. They have a lot of young players that they can trade to watch. You maybe trade a Cam Reddish. They have a lot of picks in the future. Use those picks. Maybe trade a veteran that'll make the money work. So also they can free up money that next year and go after free agents and things like that. Because sometimes, it's about the money as well. I think the Hawks would be a good fit. And then you'll have Trae Young, you'll have Bradley Beal, and then they'll have Clint Capella, who is a decent finisher. Someone where, Trae Young can use in the pick and roll. They collapse on him, alley-oop, like a lot of things you saw in Houston. So I think, and Bradley Beal, the Hawks will be a playoff team. I think it would be terrible if they didn't make the playoffs. If they would have added Bradley Beal, it's just a team that a lot of people not talking about. I think the Hawks could sneak in there with the pieces they have. A lot of young pieces. Use that as trade capital. Also their picks. To help Washington in the future, because Washington has to blow this thing up. I don't know. They're hanging on to this Bradley Beal, John Wall thing. Mm-hmm. They hang on too long. It's like they remind me of the Bengals in a sense, where they just hang on to the players just a little too long, and then you like, oh. And now you're stuck in this position. Now John Wall working his way back from being injured for almost 2 years, and then Bradley Beal out there balling by himself. Things like that. Bradley Beal right now is the Joe Mixon of the Wizards. You know what I mean? Where he was last year, he was just out there balling by himself. You know what I mean? So they have to blow this up, though. It's been too long. It's been almost a decade. With this 7-8 years, it's time. It's time to blow it up. Just to move on and go to our last topic here. Sports. It's getting a little fishy to me. And we talked about this before. Why does it take so long? The NBA, we said they agreed that they was going to play the beginning of June. Mm-hmm. Why does it take 60 days to get to Orlando?
Well, Coach, as far as, the whole reason why the whole NBA season was suspended, the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And
yes.
It's easier said than done to say, hey, this is when we're going to start. We're going to start here. But then as the days go on and the country slowly reopens, cases start spiking again, and now everybody might be getting cold feet. Oh, maybe we shouldn't open it. And particularly Orlando is in Florida, and Florida is the new hotspot for corona. As far as if we're going to see sports, I'm really not sure. I would love to see sports again. It would be nice to watch it again. It would be good, but at the same time, with us knowing limited information about the virus, essentially, it's something as big as sports. How do they open up safely? How do they go about this without essentially putting people at risk? Without essentially seeming careless?
Right, and honestly, there's no way. You know what I mean? You can test every day. You can do what you want. It's basically a sense like, hey, there's a risk that you can catch the virus. And I just don't think, honestly, we'll see sports in 2020. I really don't. I don't think we'll see anything when it comes out. Clemson players, 25 players get tested for coronavirus. Even though that's good now, I guess let them quarantine, let them get better, and everything like that. But like you said, the cases are spiking. It's more and more. It seems like every facility that's testing, NFL players that come out, they got coronavirus, and it's making everybody nervous. Now everybody got to go home. They want to thoroughly clean the facilities and everything like that. So we're back to square one, almost. You know what I mean? I think, in Major League Baseball, I think they forgot the reason why there was no baseball to begin with. The whole owner thing and everything like that. Now they talk about, now spring training facilities are closed and they got to clean and be thoroughly cleaned and this, that, and the third. It's like, y'all forgot the reason why y'all even at the owner's table right now, early? Like, technically, we will have baseball still. Like, you know what I mean? If this doesn't happen, but y'all forgot the real reason why. And I just don't know if I hope we do see sports. I really do. But I just don't know if we will see it.
And that's kind of where I wanted to stop in, is as far as a country, we're a little slow to the pandemic in anyway. And so I believe that the virus has been here. It has been here for a while.
Yes.
And I think these people that are testing positive is what we're not hearing is what happens afterwards. They test positive. Okay, are they sick? Can they not breathe? Are they all right? We're not hearing what happens next.
Yep.
And we see 25 Clemson players. Okay. Do they just go sit for 14 weeks? 14 days, and they're fine? Do we really know what's going on? And it comes to a point where it's like everyday citizens, you and I, if we were to go to work, we make that choice to take that risk.
Yeah.
And I think for sports, I don't think we're going to see him. You know, I think you're right. I would love to, but it doesn't look likely because we simply just don't know enough.
Yeah, don't know enough. Vaccine's not here. I just don't see it being sports this year. But we'll see. We'll hold out hope. You know, and we'll definitely find out here in July. As you know, hopefully baseball can get agreement so they can start in the middle of the month. And, you know, basketball starts at the end of the month on my birthday. So hopefully I get a birthday gift there and be able to watch some games on my birthday. But all right, you know, that's it. Well, another episode of Timeout with Coach Kam. Appreciate you for all you tuning in. Make sure y'all click the subscribe button. We out.